Hello everyone. In this demo, you'll see a integration between Cavirin and Ansible. In this demo, the main use case here is that we have a set of machines that are essentially of the Red Hat type. And in this, what you'll see in the next few minutes is actually a workflow where we run an assessment of a Red Hat machine using the CIS Policy Pack, and we choose to remediate one or more of the failed policies within the CIS Policy Pack using our Ansible integration. To do that, I already set up an asset group in which previously I've discovered a Red Hat machine. I hit the assess button there, and that brings up the CIS Policy Pack. One quick thing to note here is that you can actually set up suppressions, as we call them, of one or more policies in your CIS Policy Pack that represents how your company wants to protect these machines. So for example, I might suppress the network configuration policies because I have a compensating control for them. And once I do that, I can run the assessment. As you can see, the assessment begins with a discovery phase and then goes into a scan phase, after which you'll actually see. As you can see at this point, the assessment has completed for the Red Hat 7 asset group. At this point, what we want to do is to take a look at the Ansible artifacts that got generated by the Cavirin system. So first we find the machine on which the Cavirin system was running, get into the machine, and then the first thing we look at is what's known as the inventory file or the host file that contains the list of machines that we are asking Ansible to remediate. So in what you'll see here under the inventory file, you'll see a host file which contains the list of Red Hat machines that require remediation. So the next thing we want to look at is the details of the host file itself. So as you can see here, you've got a list of machines listed under the Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7 with that particular IP address. And next we want to take a look at the var file artifact, which is essentially a list of CIS rules along with the true or false statement next to them. Now, the idea here is that anything that's marked as a true means that Ansible will use that flag to remediate those particular policies or conditions on the machine. As you saw previously, I had suppressed a number of policies from the CIS policy packs. Those will appear as false in this list because we did not evaluate them and we don't expect Ansible to do anything with those policies either. Now, the next thing we're going to do is to go to the Ansible control plane and run what's known as the fetch playbook. The fetch playbook is really a playbook that pulls down the variables files and the host file from the Cavirin system and then moves them into the Ansible control plane. So once we run that copy operation will get completed. So that's done, and next thing we do is to run the Ansible playbook for remediation itself. So again, in this playbook, what you'll see a reference to the hosts that we had previously looked at, and then you'll also see a reference to the var file, which is really the list of policies that contains a list of policies with true or false, which Ansible uses as a guideline for remediation. In this step, we're going to run the playbook, which contains the remediation plan. And in this command line, what you'll see here is that as part of the invocation of the playbook itself, we give a reference to the hosts file that contains a list of hosts for remediation. And then at this point, we run the playbook. Once this finishes successfully, you know that Ansible has remediated the appropriate policies on the given machine. So that was successful. So now we can go back to the Cavirin system and rerun an assessment. and verify that the remediation was successful. So now, as you can see, the assessment has completed on this particular asset group, and the score has gone up to 65 when it was previously 63, as you saw at the start of the demo. A quick way to validate what you actually did is to actually go back to the dashboard. In addition to looking at the score, which is at 65 for this asset group, you can also look at the prioritized issues, and if you look for the policy which is related to disabling CRAM FS, you will see that that policy no longer appears in the list of prioritized issues. So that's it. So what you saw in this demo was an integration between Cavirin and Ansible, where we wanted to remediate machines in the Red Hat asset group to a golden posture based on the CIS Policy Pack. Very quickly in the workflow, we ran assessments, which included some policy suppressions to reflect your corporate standards. And then we showed the automation of how we created the Ansible artifacts and then got Ansible to actually run those artifacts to remediate the machines to the target posture you were looking for. Thank you.